pressing firmly, revolved them in different directions. She took a deep breath. Then, looking up the riverbank, she said, "You recognize you're paying your cousin no mind, Skylar?" Kneeling, he looked up at her, smiling. "But ain't sex fun?" "You're right about that, Skylar." "Yeah, I'm right about that." Underwater, he pressed his nose against the forward base of her pubic hair. Face raised to the sky, Tandy said, "You're too right." Underwater, he could not hear her. He stood up and took her hand and began to lead her toward the riverbank. "We've always had sex fun," he said. "You always surprise me no matter what we're doing. You know that?" At the edge of the water, she slipped a little. He put his arm around her waist and lowered her onto the mud, his chest on hers, his waist flat on the ground, his penis in the cool mud. He ran his tongue around her lips, then put it into her mouth. He opened his mouth to circumscribe her lips. Then he thrust his tongue toward her throat. "Yow," she finally said, softly. Putting more of his weight on his left hip bone, he slid his leg up her thigh. She rolled more onto her side. He put the muscles just above his knee against her crotch and began rubbing. He put his hands onto her shoulders and pressed down firmly but gently. Her hands were flat against the muscles below his shoulder blades. She pulled him more toward her. "Oh," she said. Julep was nibbling Skylar's toes. Skylar put his right hand under Tandy's left arm, ran it quickly down her side, grabbed her left cheek, and lifted it. Riding Skylar's bucking, rubbing thigh muscle, Tandy came. They stretched on their backs in the mud. "You've got to go meet your cousin. Your parents, you just knew I wasn't going to meet him straight out. He arrived at your house hours ago. I didn't happen to be at home just then, did I?" With his fingers, Skylar plopped mud onto Tandy's stomach. "I'm a dirt dauber." "Your parents are giving a dress-up lawn party for him." Her left hand smeared the cool mud around on her skin. "And I'm still not there." Tandy sat halfway up. "We've got to wash off." "Yes." "I hate to put on jeans when I'm wet." "No hurry." Skylar stepped back into the river. Following him, she said, "It's getting right late. Let me do your back." Standing waist-deep in the river, they cupped water in their hands and rubbed each other down. "Making love for hours," Tandy said. "Making love all day. It's been nice growing up with you." "Are we grown up?" Skylar asked. They ducked their heads below water and shook the mud out of their hair with their fingers. On the riverbank, still wet, still erect, Skylar pulled on his jeans and his socks and his boots. He raised his fly zipper carefully. Tandy shook her jeans as if they, instead of herself, were wet. Holding them at her side, she looked at Skylar. She said, "You ride a runaway that way, and you might just break it off. Where's my shirt?" "You don't need a shirt. It's almost dark." Skylar jumped onto the saddleless horse. He had not carried a shirt with him all day. "Let's go." While wriggling into her jeans, Tandy picked up her shirt. She climbed onto the horse behind Skylar, with his help, without putting her shirt on. She put her arms around his chest and her face against his back. After they started off, Julep trotting behind them, she said, "Whoa, you're taking the long way." Skylar said, "I know." She said, "You ought to hurry." "I know." "Skylar," she said, "this is the way to the back of Whitfield." "I know." "Skylar, what are you doing now?" "Going to scope out my cousin." Still shirtless, Skylar and Tandy lay on their stomachs in the dark on the hill overlooking the lit back lawn of the main house at Whitfield Farm. They had left Runaway down the far side of the hill, this time tethered to a tree.